Hey, I'm Warren Sprouse. This is the Bible Forum. It's 8 o'clock in Charleston, South Carolina. That's on the eastern seaboard. We do this every Sunday night. It's April 3rd, and it's 72 degrees here. I don't know what it's doing in the rest of the world, but we are already well into spring. We're going to be spending the next couple of hours together. I hope you can be part of it. If you cannot, that is totally understandable. We do take these videos that I'm recording right now of the show and set them up so that they actually work on a carousel. I don't know what you would call it. It cycles around. You go to the website, thebibleforum.com, .net rather, and click the video link there at the bottom right, and it'll just cycle through last week's show. Do that all week long. Until Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. I did it just before I went on the air, went in and deleted all those. I mean, they're not really gone, but they're not there for you to see. Now, if you want to watch something that's happened later than just last week, you click the word Ustream in the bottom right-hand corner of the video screen. It'll take you to another website, and you'll have a whole pile of these things. Or you can go to the Bible Forum YouTube page, and you can watch from there. We do that as well. This week, you probably would have gotten an email from me. If you do not get the email, you need to let me know. Send me an email. I'll put one of these out for you every week. It tells you what we're going to be talking about this week. There are a number of things that we will be able to get to. We probably won't be able to talk about all of them, time being what it is. But this week I asked if you wanted to unsubscribe from my list. I don't know very many people who do that. I think about it when I think about unsubscribing from what I subscribe to, and if I know the person, I think, I wonder what they're going to think. They're going to think I don't care about them. I don't want this information. It's just that I'm going in a different direction. It's just more of the same. It's just I'm not getting anything out of it necessarily. We've done this. It's time to move on. And so I've asked you to let me know by unsubscribing. Now, I did check, and nobody's done it, which is a good sign. And I'm not looking for you to do it. I wish you wouldn't. I wish you'd take these emails and forward them to people and suggest to them that they need to sign up, to subscribe to this particular thing so that we can enlarge the audience. I have been taking some of the subjects that we talk about on Sunday night, putting them into smaller snapshots, and then once every day or so putting them up on YouTube and Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. They're a couple of minutes long, and it just sort of jogs somebody's memory and maybe points them in this direction. If you get a hold of something like that, forward that along. Forward the Facebook along. Forward the Twitter stuff along, the tweets, the kinds of things that I send you. It would be very much appreciated. Want you to think about the Bible Institute. We do have Bible Institute of Charleston. It's up and going. There's some folks who are taking courses. We are finishing up or in the midst of the second course for most people who are in the program. Most of you, though, have not signed up, and you need to do that. If you go to the website, BibleInstituteofCharleston.org, or there's a link on this website. You can see a sample. You can see the rundown. There's a couple of videos you can watch. I think this week I'm going to change the sample, put something different up. We've now moved in. I've recorded 4 lessons so far, 4 segments of lessons. How do I say that? There's about 5 or 6 lessons per course. I've done 4 courses. Finished up demonology a week or so ago. Working on the next one, and I want to try to stay ahead of you as you are taking this course. But we have 10 of these. They are basic Bible doctrine courses. If you do not know basic Bible doctrine, you're going to get victimized. You're going to hear things that aren't right. You won't know it. You're going to wonder about stuff. There's going to come a day when you're going to wish you had done it. So sign up. You can go to that link, BibleInstituteofCharleston.org, click the link and so forth, and do what it tells you to do. What can I tell you? Every Monday, I go online and I upload the next lesson. Keep track of everything and everybody. If I miss you, please let me know, but give me till lunchtime. Monday morning is a short time. Today, this afternoon, I thought I was losing my voice. I don't know if it's the allergies, old age, I don't know. But, we went to church this morning. There was singing, and then there was choir practice this evening, and then there was more singing. And I wondered how I would do with 2 more hours of this. But I got through it last week, and I really was in worse shape, so it should work pretty good. We're going to be talking this week about World War III. It may have already begun. We're going to talk about what constitutes above reproach in the church. We're going to talk about the Arch of Baal, the arch that is outside the Temple of Baal in Syria, outside of Damascus. They're doing a resemblance. What do you call it? They're going to create one for Times Square in New York, and also in London. Eventually, they're hoping to put one of these in 50 cities around the world. We'll talk about what that's all about. We're going to look at what spirit dancing is about, or praise dancing, and what does it do? I've heard about this. I've seen a little bit of it, but it came up this week in something else, and I pursued it, and I thought it'd be something you need to understand. And we're going to look at a Barna report about these evangelicals that are just so excited about Donald Trump. And then eventually we're going to talk about how to interpret the Bible without exaggerating the claims. In that regard, I do have an email that I wanted to share with you. When I went off the air last week, it turns out I had an email from a fellow I do not know. And he writes, "Good evening. I'm reading on your forum online, and I have a few questions for you. 2, in fact. What is your stance on the King James Bible, and what do you think we need to be saved?" Now, I always take these as honest seekers, people who want to know. This sounded like someone who had a position and wanted to know if I matched his position. So I wrote back, and I told him what the Bible has to say about salvation. I also went into a little bit about Bible versions and why they're important and so forth. And I got a response. He wasn't happy. Apparently, this is someone who believes the King James Version of the Bible is inspired. I'm not quite sure about the salvation question, but I guess if I don't believe the King James Version of the Bible is inspired, then the rest of it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I guess. I don't know. But the sum and substance of what this fellow was saying was that the Bible clearly says that Jesus not only went to hell after the crucifixion during that 3-day period, but that he's there now because he's God, he's omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. And so he's everywhere, therefore he's in hell. And I was trying to point out that the words in the Old Testament referencing hell are very generic. It doesn't necessarily mean a place where somebody is in torment. But then that's where all of this came unglued. Because he says that's exactly what it is. I chided him just a little bit, explaining in his response that being sarcastic toward me was not encouraging a further dialogue. And he says, "I'm not trying to have a dialogue, I'm exposing your heresy." And I thought, oh, okay. You get some of this every once in a while. It's why you need the Bible Institute of Charleston.org. We go through, number one lesson, we go through hermeneutics. How do you interpret the Bible you have in your hand? And it's not limited to the King James. It's to the Word of God. How do you do that? Anyway, my little commercial. Did you see your president this week at a meeting, a forum on nuclear or whatever? And as they took the picture, he's standing there with his little peace sign. Did you see that? He's 15. You know, come on. You got to get over some of this stuff at some point. It didn't look like in the things that I saw that he was acting very much like an adult. But, you know, that's the way it works. What else we got going on? Several of you have dipped into your pocket and shared with this ministry, and I wanted to say thank you. We had the biggest month of offerings that we've ever had, and we are coming dangerously close to being solvent. I think we're about $700 a month short of being able to make everything work and keep me from having to go out and find a job and maybe doing this show in a different way. But that'll be up to the Lord. He'll be the one who will be guiding this process. Did you know that the UN has once again named the country in the world who has the most egregious record on human rights? Do you know which country this is? Yeah, that's the one. Israel. Not North Korea, not Russia, none of the Islamic states, not China, Israel. On March 24th, the UN Commission on the Status of Women wrapped up its annual meeting in New York, condemning the only country in the world that doesn't really violate women's rights. They were the ones, they were saying that Israel was violating the rights of Palestinian women. When you read the article, you know, they're saying that how these people come to the conclusion, and it's through the videos that the UN supplies and the speakers they bring in and things of that nature. A very closed and very narrow view of the world they're given, this committee. And there's 50 or 80 of these people. And it just wonders you. Don't these people have a phone? Don't they have an iPad, an iPod, a computer? Don't they watch television? Don't they read the paper? Don't they know anything except what the UN is telling them? It just boggles the mind. Can you say John Birch Society? Anybody know what John Birch Society is? Am I the only one? It's old. It goes back to the 50s. They got signs, or at least they used to, all over the country. Get us out of the UN. You know, it's going to be like that. I want you to be a part of the program. 843-732-0249. 843-732-0249. I'll tell you when not to call. There are a couple of times when I want to isolate a segment for a particular reason, but that now's not the time. So if you have any questions or comments, something you'd like discussed or anything at all, give us a call. 843-732-0249. Canada has got a new, what do they call it, a premier? They have a parliamentary form of it, same as Great Britain. What do they call their leader? Prime Minister, yeah. Got a new government, and the new government says that a boycott of Iran was counterproductive. They want to open all the channels. They want to continue to talk to these people. They don't think that boycotts are constructive. And so they're now cozying up. Justin Trudeau is his name. They're cozying up to Iran because they really think that that's the way to bring peace in the world. Does anybody believe that? But this seems to be the new way the West is approaching global affairs. They banded together. They boycotted, isolated Iran. Now they've lifted all of that. Our president says that Iran is abiding by the letter, if not the spirit, of the agreement. Iran is not supposed to be getting a bomb, a nuclear bomb, but they keep moving in that direction. They're setting off rockets to test launching vehicles. They're doing all of these things. They're pointing them at Israel, got Israel's name written on it, making no bones about it. But, we're going to talk to them. It'll be just fine. In New York, Palestinian representative told Christian news service on March 16th, quote, Israel is directing its military machinery toward women and girls. They're killing them, injuring them, leaving them bleeding to death, operating hand in glove with governments and the United Nations Secretariat are the unelected, sanctimonious NGOs. You know what an NGO is? What's it, a national government organization? No. What's the N for? Anyway, these are private organizations, private companies that go in. The government pays for them to go into these countries and do things that we can't do. And it says that the United Nations is offering free facilities and daily advertisement of all of the side events that are going on, meaning the things that are encouraging the Palestinians and discouraging Israel. It's a constant battle. Are you paying any attention to the elections? We're told that there are evangelicals banding behind Donald Trump. A recent survey, Barna survey, showed 36% of religious skeptics are engaged in election news. 38% of Catholic voters are engaged in election news. 26% of Protestants are engaged in election news. That's not a very high percentage. The survey indicates that evangelicals are engaged in presidential election, but they are the least engaged of all the other religious, or compared to the other religious groups. Less than 1/3 of registered voters are following the election very closely. Among evangelicals, only 1 out of 5, that's 20%. It's not 36%, it's not 38% Catholics, not 26% Protestants, it's 20% evangelicals. So who are these evangelicals that are banding behind or gathering steam behind Donald Trump? According to the Christian Post, the study also found that evangelicals surveyed acknowledged that the outcome of the election would be, quote, extremely important to the future of the United States. 78% of evangelicals said the election is extremely important. In the article, it says, quote, nobody expected 17 candidates to seek GOP nomination. Also, nobody expected Donald Trump to be taken seriously by Republican voters, much less to emerge as the man to beat. That from analyst George, the analyst who was working for the George Barna survey. He also went on to say nobody expected the last two credible Republican candidates to be those representing the Washington outsiders. Nobody expected a Democratic socialists to give Hillary Clinton serious competition. Nobody expected so many evangelicals to back a Republican candidate whose lifestyle has consistently conflicted with their values. Nobody expected the televised debates to draw such record-breaking audience, and the list goes on. Nobody expected any of these things to happen. They're happening. One of the other things that this fellow went on to say is that he is out and about talking to people about these things, and he has spoken to many evangelical audiences. And he says he has yet to find an evangelical audience that's backing Trump. Who are these people? And what are they doing? We don't really know, do we? We've got some other things that I want to talk to you about. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was this Tower of Baal that's going to be put up in London and in Times Square. To do that, I'd like that to be a separate video, so I'm going to stop this thing and give it a title, and then we're going to start with this separate video just about the Tower of Baal. Don't call me during that time period. I know you're just itching to call, so we'll do that.